It's Delaware. It's Thursday, December 12th. I'm Peter MacArthur. Glad you could be with us today. We really are getting down to the very final days of 2024. And we want to kind of give you an idea of where we are in the jobs marketplace and where we might be headed at the start of 2025. Chris Burkhard joining us, Placer Staffing in Newark, like he does to talk about these types of things. Chris, hi, how are you? Can you hear me? Oh, here we go. Let's try this one. Hi, Chris.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, happy holidays to you, Pete.
Thank you much. I appreciate it. Let's get down to it, Chris. The jobs report we saw last Friday revealed really some critical insights into the job market, into the economy. What are some of the takeaways that you got from that report?
Well, the headline is it's good news. It was finally a predictable month. The actual jobs came in slightly over what was forecasted at 227,000 jobs, which ironically, Pete, is the average of really like the last 3 years. So it was back to a predictable month. And then October, which was, 12,000 jobs, pretty low number. It was adjusted upwards significantly too. So it all kind of confirms that last month was like a blip of data. And that creates optimism in that future job market. Maybe most importantly, Pete, the economy grew in most sectors of the economy. My concern had been that it's grown in fewer and fewer parts of the economy, but it grew in health and social services. Yeah. It grew in leisure and hospitality, government, even manufacturing rebounded strongly. Only IT, information technology, and interestingly, retail was down. And I always thought retail was, higher during the holidays.
Let me ask you this, just in your experience, Chris, does that December jobs report or the November one leading into December, does that hold a little extra weight because we are bending the calendar? Is there like a momentum that comes with it one way or the other?
I think it's more the trends over time than it is any one particular month. But this one really had significance because November was such a weird number. We're going back many years where it was a little unnerving, if you will. Honestly, Pete, there's only one thing I found that was of a concern to me, and it's that unemployment for recent college grads climbed over 5% in the last few months. Yeah. And I think I get that because I see that it is not a terrible job market, but it's, I've been on your show blessed for many, many months, over many years, and there were times where young college grads would put the resume on a LinkedIn and have 2 or 3 offers 5 days a week. You're really working for it now.
Yeah, sure thing. I think COVID might have played a role in this too. Many job seekers today are kind of prioritizing, Chris, that purpose-driven job they want to get that align with their personal values. What advice, especially maybe considering some of the things you just said, do you have for job seekers looking to maybe identify those kinds of employers?
So this discussion about, purpose-driven work, you're right. It comes out of, you could say the pandemic or COVID, but by historical standards, this has been, just the best jobs market. So it meant that workers had lots of choices and their criteria could really evolve. So I'm sure the audience is thinking, well, what is purpose-driven work? Well, this is really where we go to work and we really identify with the mission of the organization we work for. We're not just going for a paycheck and vacation. We want to feel like we identify with it. But my team of recruiters feels that this is something that people come to us all the time. They're not quite sure how to do it. Yeah. So it's really research, outreach, and observation. You got to look at a company's mission and values. You got to see if it resonates with you personally. You can check the company's public reputation on things like Glassdoor or Indeed, kind of see how people feel about it. But at the very least, people should be looking at how organizations treat their own people and suppliers. It's, social impact, environment are one thing, but this is really a great way for people to get a sense of if an organization is aligned with their own personal values, something we've talked a lot about.
Yeah, and the interview process too, Chris, I could see this playing out when the potential employer asks the candidate, do you have any questions for us? Here's a perfect time for you to clarify whether those values are what you think they are in that company.
Yeah, Pete, if you're interviewing me, I might ask you, how does the organization's mission translate into the work we do every day? Mm-hmm. How does your company promote employee growth and well-being and inclusion? There's ways to prep where you have good questions that, honestly, a great question is one that shows initiative and forward thinking, but also is very authentic. You want the answer.
Yeah, for sure. As I mentioned, we're approaching the end of the year, and everyone wants to know, what careers do you look to be in high demand, especially in that early going of 2025, Chris?
I get asked this a lot, Pete, and I don't have the answer until I do the homework and kind of look a little bit at it. First of all, I think that 2025 is going to be a better job market. The one thing to look at, it's going to take some time. The job market opportunities are really dominant in industries that are not in recession. Recession in jobs is what I'm speaking about. So I see brighter days ahead for manufacturing. It's stable, and it is definitely going to grow. Boomers are aging in their homes. So all things healthcare and home care. Locally, there is a high demand for teachers. It's an up and down thing, but it's high. The other thing is sales roles are up over 30% as businesses anticipate better days. That's kind of my canary in the coal mine, Pete, when I start seeing organizations hire sales roles. And man, if I had to do it over again, I'd be in construction, because all levels, all roles, estimators, project managers, construction managers, and all the trades are in demand, and I don't see that stopping at all.
Wow. Well, that is certainly good news. Listen, so glad we got a chance to talk. I want to wish you and yours happy holidays. Always appreciate your input on things, and we will talk again very soon.
I look forward to talking to you in 25, Pete. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Chris Burkhard, Placer Staffing in Newark, joining us here on Del Aware.